What's up guys, Peach Booty here again, and in my last video, I ranked my favorite top 10 butt attacks in video games. But this video is going to be a little different. This time, I'm going to be talking about video game characters that I think need butt attacks the most, as far as the ones that don't already have them. And when I say need butt attacks the most, what I am talking about is characters where I think it would help them with their movesets in games if they had butt attacks, or they need butt attacks because it just fits them a little too well and it's surprising that they don't already have them. So I've thought about somewhere between 5 to 10 characters, and I believe that there's a core 5 that I personally believe definitely need butt attacks. If I had to have an honorable mention for this, it would probably be Eve from Stellar Blade, but because Stellar Blade is still a fairly new game, I'm going to wait that one out a little bit and see if Shift Up ends up giving Eve a butt attack further down the line. So where are we going first? We're going to be talking about a game whose title focuses on a different body part, and that is arms, so of course we're talking about Twintelle. Now, I firmly believe that if Twintelle would have been the arms representative for Smash, she definitely would have had a butt attack to try and compete with Peach and Daisy. And there's plenty of other characters in Smash that have ground pounds and other butt attacks like that. Now, it doesn't just have to be Smash. Obviously in ARMS, the one character who doesn't really use her quote-unquote arms, she uses her pigtails from her hair, but it's still the same kind of arms that the other characters have, just not literal arms. But Twintelle obviously has the biggest butt in the game, and I believe that if ARMS characters would have been in other games like Smash, or ARMS itself would have gotten a sequel like Legs, or like I like to say, Butts, Twintelle definitely would have had a butt attack by now. The main thing that Twintelle lacks is simply just exposure. Yes, everyone knows who she is, at least anybody that likes ass, or arms in this case, but the fact that ARMS has only gotten one game, and a game that has the level of character design that ARMS does have, Twintelle needs to be in more video games, and I can almost guarantee that whatever the next game she's in, she will have some sort of butt attack. Her butt is too big, there's too much focus on it, and I would be surprised if the next game she's in doesn't utilize it. When it comes to what style of butt attacks I think she would have, I've said before in other videos that I think she would use her hair arms to grab the opponent and slam them back into her huge ass, kind of like a rubber band effect, to where the hair would stretch out and then she would fling it back to her butt and then booty bump him that way. That's at least what I envision when it comes to potential Twintelle butt attacks. Up next, we have the character that I believe that most people would agree with is the most surprising that she doesn't already have a butt attack or multiple butt attacks. And of course, I'm talking about Bayonetta. Throughout 3 games and 2 Smash games, Bayonetta has been showcasing her ass in plenty of different ways, but never as a weapon. The only time I've ever seen Bayonetta booty bump anybody or anything was at the end of Bayonetta 3, when all the different versions of herself are kind of dancing, and they're doing like a little booty bump with each other here and there, and that is it. The fact that she doesn't have a booty bump like a lollipop chainsaw kind of butt attack, or many of these other butt attacks that we see in beat-em-up games, the fact that she doesn't have a butt attack in Smash, I just made the argument that if Twintelle was in Smash, she would most likely have butt attacks. And Twintelle also has like a witch time effect that Bayonetta has, so they have similar features, and similar really big features, if you know what I'm saying. But the fact that Bayonetta does not have a butt attack in any of her games, or the Smash games, is just completely surprising to me, and it's to the point where I almost feel like it's just too late. That if she actually ended up getting some sort of butt attack in like a Bayonetta 4 or something, I almost wouldn't believe it. It should be the most believable one. But the fact that we still haven't seen it yet is just extremely surprising to me. And she could have all sorts of butt attacks. In her games, for like a torture attack, even just booty bumping her enemies into one of those torture devices. She could have Madame Butterfly do a giant butt stomp on enemies. She could have a sassy little hip check booty bump in Smash, kind of like Peach and Daisy's back throw. There's so much potential for Bayonetta to use her butt as an actual literal weapon. And the fact that it hasn't happened yet is just so surprising to me. And I don't have too much else to say about that. Just give Bayonetta a damn butt attack already. I mean, come on, man. And the other character in this image also needs some damn butt attacks. And of course, I'm referring to Suit Samus. Yeah, it would seem a little unfitting for Samus herself to use her butt, but I think a good way to differentiate Suit Samus from Samus, especially once again in a Smash Bros. Game, would be for Samus or Suit Samus to utilize her butt as a weapon, right? Utilize her body as a weapon. Because the whole thing about Suit Samus is that she has zero suit. That's why she's called Suit Samus, even though we sort of now refer to her blue suit as the Zero Suit. But yeah, I think she could definitely have different sort of butt attacks. She could have another Peach Bomber type move where she uses the jet heels, I guess, like if she can hover herself with those to propel herself butt first into an enemy. I think the most fitting butt attack for a Suit Samus would be that kind of hip check side booty bump type move. Not necessarily like the Peach or Daisy back throw like I submitted for Bayonetta, but more so like Anna Williams' Aphrodite scorn in Tekken. Like an aggressive hip check, an aggressive side booty bump, I think fits Samus very well. Or in this case, again, Suit Samus. I just think her not having the suit and her butt being as huge as it is, it just makes sense that it would be used as a hitbox, right? And I think she's also the most talked about for butt attacks. Even though Bayonetta, it makes the most sense. I've seen a lot of people, a lot of topics on forums online talk about what if Suit Samus had Peach's moveset? Just basically to refer to butt attacks. I've seen that conversation a lot. Even to the point where I put out a poll before making this video about which character should have butt attacks or needs butt attacks the most, and Suit Samus got the most votes. It's just a good way to split the moveset between a Suit Samus and a Samus, once again in Smash. If she did have another Zero Mission kind of moment in her own games, maybe in Metroid Prime 4 she loses her suit so she can't use it anymore, and then has to use her literal biggest weapon, obviously being her backside. I think not only would it be really hot, like a lot of people have said, I think it is kind of fitting. Again, it's not fitting for Samus's personality. It's just purely for utility. Samus is smart enough, her physical intelligence in combat, to utilize a weapon as big as her huge ass. From one big booty blonde to the next, two of the hottest characters in video games that happen to have two of the biggest, best butts. And of course, this time I'm talking about Cammy from Street Fighter. Specifically Street Fighter 6 Cammy, because her ass is gigantic in this game. It's so big to the point where if you haven't seen my other videos, I hosted a butt battle tournament with 64 of the most prominent backsides in video games. And I treated it like a Keijo matchup, if you guys have seen that anime or heard about it, where women basically attack each other in a tournament with only their butts. They also use their boobs too, but it's primarily focused on butts. So I basically ran a Keijo-like tournament for video game characters, and based off the votes, Cammy absolutely dominated, even against other characters with butt attacks, like an Armika, also from Street Fighter. So basically what I'm saying is that anytime anyone envisioned Cammy going ass to ass with any other character, Cammy would come out on top. Her booty would send the other booty flying out of the stratosphere. So she obviously has to be in this video. I think size-wise, especially compared to the rest of her body, she probably has the biggest ass, or at least easily one of the biggest butts in video games. And she uses her body. Like I was kind of talking about how Zero Suit Samus would operate. Cammy actually utilizes tons of kicks, utilizes her thighs and her lower body plenty of times. So why doesn't she have a butt attack? Maybe it's because Armika kind of fits that already in Street Fighter, but they also gave Laura a butt attack in Street Fighter V. I actually had a personal character crisis in Street Fighter VI. I would have liked to use Cammy, but she has no butt attacks, so I just could never get good with her. If she used butt attacks, I'd probably get really good with her. But with no Armika in the game and Cammy not actually utilizing her massive ass, I was kind of lost on a character. And that's why I need butt attacks from her. As of right now in Street Fighter VI, I'm just hoping Armika gets in the game. And who knows, maybe they'll add a second super critical art or whatever to the characters, and then Cammy will get some sort of ass-based super to compete with Armika. I highly doubt that would happen. Maybe we gotta wait for a Street Fighter 7. But again, with butt attacks, I can honestly see Cammy doing any kind of butt attack. She has the more serious personality like Samus, but again, her butt is just way too big, and she shows it off in her taunts and her win poses all the time. So you got other characters in the series that utilize their butts all the time. It just makes sense. Cammy, give her a butt attack, she'd be undefeated, she'd destroy everybody. It's just kind of obvious, you gotta do it. Hold up, did I say destroy everyone? Well, there's one video game character who doesn't have butt attacks yet that has something to say about that, and that is obviously the hitbox herself, Princess Zelda. Yes, ever since the most popular butt-based meme that I've ever seen in my life came out in 2020 talking about Zelda's quote-unquote hitbox in Smash, which is ironically a hurtbox. Since that has come out, I've always thought, wait, why doesn't Zelda have an actual hitbox on her ass? I mean, to be fair, Smash Ultimate is still the most recent Smash, but I just can't see another Smash with Zelda not using her butt. She is the perfect competitor to a Peach and a Daisy, the other big Nintendo princess. Hell, the main females in Smash have always been Peach, Zelda, Samus, right? All three of them should be using butt attacks at this point. Ironically, Samus and Zelda's ass has been almost more popular than Peach's recently. And back in the Brawl days, Peach was the only one people were thinking about when it comes to Peaches, right? Zero Suit Samus did not have much ass in Brawl. Zelda in her Twilight Princess form, not much ass. Now you have Breath of the Wild form, you have Tears of the Kingdom form, and obviously Smash Ultimate form. And I feel like Zelda, when it comes to Nintendo butts, is probably the most popular one right now. We are still getting tons of fan art from the whole hitbox meme in Smash Ultimate, as well as Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom in the dress. So when it comes to butt attacks, like I said with Peach and Daisy, give us a Zelda bomber. Hell, the back throw would work, the back air would work. Even when she does her up B teleport, sometimes her butt is the thing that hits the opponent right and sends them flying. So just like with Cammy, I think you could give Zelda any sort of butt attacks. I think there's maybe even some people that would argue that, at least now, it kind of looks like with Zelda with the hitbox, that she would be the one that always had these butt attacks. But no, that is Peach. You can't call Zelda Princess Peach, right? But that's the one thing that Zelda's missing. You give Zelda butt attacks, and she definitely propels up my favorites list, even though she already has. But she even somehow gets further than that, right? So yeah, Zelda, Cammy, Samus, Bayonetta, Twintelle are easily the top 5 characters that I think about that don't have butt attacks, that should definitely utilize them to get them to the weapons of ass destruction status.